Can't go through trauma without it showing up in your life. The truth always works, even if the other person doesn't listen. I agree with that at my soul. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Book of Sean. That's me, Sean. I'm in a goofy mood tonight, so just bear with me. It's gonna be one of those days. And let me tell you why. Because if you want to feel bad, if you want to feel sullen and depressed and sad, I'm not your guy tonight. Tonight, we are going to feel absolutely amazing by the time this show is over. I got some people on the program tonight that will make you want to get up and run around the room. That's how inspiring their stories are. That's how good their books are and how great their music happens to be. That's what we're doing tonight. Tonight is about hope and joy and about feeling inspired, because I just think we need some of that. We just need some of that. I mean, we need some of that, and we need it bad. And I have two outstanding guests tonight, NeeJay Sherman, and then later on, Brian Courtney Wilson will be on, and we're just gonna go there. We're gonna tell our stories. We're gonna declare our truth, and we're gonna walk in the grace, the mercy, the second chances, the wisdoms that we've been able to gain and garner from life. And that's what we're gonna do tonight. I'm telling you, because it's just good for the soul, and I'm for anything that's good for the soul. And before I bring up my first guest and talk about her extraordinary book, did you watch the Republicans last night? It's a facetious question because I know you did. Well, some of you probably did. And what a night it was. That's all I'm going to say. I don't have a lot to say about it, except what a night it was. A night of dystopia. What a night it was. And we got a couple of more nights to go. I think it's important actually to watch it. I think it's good to watch stuff you don't agree with. I think it's good to just sit there and listen to it and to go, now I'm confirmed in the fact of what I think about all of you. It's important to do it. It's important to hear and listen to things that you don't agree with. I just think it is. So pick one night, watch it. You know, you can watch on Thursday night here on Fox Soul. We're going to show the last night of the convention here on Fox Soul, because you know who will be doing his, you know what. And I think that's going to be remarkably interesting to watch. Yes. If for no other reason, then you'll have something to talk about on social media when we're done. All right. I'm done with that because I'm all joy today. Let me bring out my first guest, who I am absolutely excited to talk to and talk about her book, the one and only NeeJay Sherman. NeeJay, what's up?
Hey, thank you for having me.
It is my absolute pleasure to have you on the show tonight. You are a magnificent gift to the culture, and I want to ask you, what is it that keeps you focused? What is it keeps you focused and keeps your passion ignited?
My family.
How so?
My family, we've been through a lot together. We've experienced the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And just knowing that, we're not really where we want to be. There's so much to experience in life, and that keeps me going, just knowing like, okay, my family, I want us to experience so many other things together. My nieces and my nephews in college, my nieces in college, I want to be an example for them. So just knowing that and that I have other people looking up to me, that 100% is what keeps me focused. And of course, God, that is just number one. I should have said that first. God first, he keeps me focused. He keeps me aligned, and just keeps me walking in my purpose.
No, all of that's great, and it's such an instructive answer. Actually, this is going to sound strange. Your first answer is actually, to me, more instructive than your second answer, because obviously, I love how you just adjusted right there. Like, what you talking about? Yes, of course, God. All right, yeah, I'm 100% for that. But to have people who you get to see and touch every day and talk to every day, that reminds you of something that connects you to the work that is outside of yourself. I think it's very important that people really understand that. The scriptures say, how can you love God whom you have not seen, and then not love your brother or your sister who you see every day? So I think it's great, that you have that at work in your life. All right, let's get to the book, because we can talk about that all night, me and you. Let's get to the book. And the book is interesting because the title is so interesting, right? So the title of your book is Broken to Peace. Did I get it right?
Yes, perfect.
Broken to Peace. And when I saw the title of the book, I thought to myself, I'm a smart guy. You know, I'm no dummy. And I'm Ann's middle child, and she didn't raise no dummy. But I was thinking, how does that title work itself out? So I thought, since I get to talk to the author, I thought I would ask you. Talk to me about that title.
Okay, let me explain it to you. So,
Okay.
Broken to Peace. I found myself 4 years ago being completely broken to pieces. Everything in my life was shattered. From my family, my mother had passed away from stage 4 pancreatic cancer. I was a sophomore in college. It was very sudden. She was diagnosed May 7th, passed away May 17th. And no prior symptoms. So everything in my life did a 180. My life was in pieces. And over the course of the last 4 years, I've had to pick myself up and find peace. And I did that. I found healing through my grief through God. So where I was broken to pieces, I ended up being broken to peace because I can see my pain, there was purpose in it. So that's like the play on words, you know, sometimes we find ourselves in pieces, but ultimately it will lead us to peace. So yeah.
You know, that first of all, that's a great witness that you offer us tonight. So because, you know, looking at you, you're a beautiful woman. You just exude a certain quality to you. And it's important for people watching and looking at you tonight to realize, yeah, with all of your beauty and your effervescence and your presence and your spirit and your book, that yeah, you've had to deal with life, and life has thrown you down and made you holler uncle and scream out for help once or twice.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess let me say this, because I'm wondering, why write a book? Like, why tell this story to the world? Why did you give this to all of us?
Well, I never thought it was written for me to be an author or to write a book. Growing up, I always enjoyed, you know, writing poetry, or, you know, I always had a diary. But I never saw this for myself ever. But when I was going through that grief and that trauma, you know, grief it's hard to explain. You know, you don't really know how to comfort other people who are grieving. You don't really know the right words to say, what to do for them. So I found myself not really being able to talk to anybody else about what I was going through. So writing was my form of healing. And years went by. This was like 3 years of writing that I was going through. And I looked back on it, I'm like, this could really help somebody. Like somebody else who's going through this, and this could really help them. So the book is like my perspective on how I went through like loss and then finding healing, and how I went through grief and how I overcame it. So the person who's reading it, the reader, they can be able to apply it to wherever they are in their life. So yeah, it wasn't written for me to be an author, but I'm glad that I did it because a lot of people have said that it has helped them. So.
Well, apparently it was written. Apparently it kind of was, because you know, last night I had on an author, and he talked a lot about how the book that he wrote his book in 3 months. That's how cathartic it was for him to write. But he talked about how the book was written to work as he was working himself through what he was going through, right? And trying to adjust his addictions, as it were. From whatever addiction he had to the addiction to writing. He wanted that to be his new addiction. But it's interesting to hear you tonight talk about the book as an offering that you decided to give to people, that the book was not necessarily for you, but you wanted to tell that story because somewhere in the living of it, or the surviving of it, let me put it that way, you decided that this might help somebody. And I'm reminded of the scriptures that say they overcame by the blood of the Lamb and by the words of their testimony. It's one of my favorite scriptures. So, I'm about to throw this microphone.
You preaching, yes.
That's how much I love that scripture. Listen, let me ask you a question. So let's just go there, because I love the title, Broken to Peace. Tell me, what is peace?
Peace is not perfection.
No, well, because that's good.
Okay.
I got to do this. I want everybody in the world to hear what NeeJay just said. Peace is not perfection.
And
keep going.
that was like the biggest thing that people got wrong when I put this book out. Just because I found peace does not mean that I have it all figured out. That is not the truth. I'm still going to have my trials, but it's how I deal with those trials to find triumph. So peace is being able to be still in whatever you're going through and having faith in God. That's for me. Because
Wow.
when I was going through everything that I was going through, I completely turned away from God. Like, it was a tough time for me. I stopped believing. I just being naive. And for me, being able to get to peace, I ran away from God. And that's the very person that I had to run back to in order to find peace. So peace is knowing that no matter what I go through, I'm going to make it through it. And I'm going to be okay. So that's for me, that's peace. It's not being life is perfect or, nothing's going to get to me or nothing's going to happen. No, that's not true. We're all going to go through things. It says it in the Bible. We're all going to face things in our life, but it's how we deal with it.
Many are the afflictions of the righteous.
It's how
it's like, could you find another way, Lord? How about few are the afflictions of the righteous?
Yeah, right.
But here's what I hear you saying, and tell me if you disagree or you agree with what I'm about to say.
Okay.
And that being this, what I hear you saying is that peace is the assurance that your survival is assured.
Yeah.
That peace is the assurance that your survival is assured. That peace is knowing that you're going to come out of it.
Yes. Yep.
And
no, you got it right. You got it right. Yeah.
How so? How right am I? Elaborate.
You got it right, because it's like I said, it's not that, when you face things, you're not gonna, it's just everything is wrong. Woe is me. No, that's not. You're gonna go through things, but just knowing that you're gonna make it out of it. And it's purpose in everything that we go through. There is so much purpose in everything that we go through in life. So yeah, you are 100% right. You hit it on the nail.
See there? I pay attention. I tell you that. I pay attention. Your story interests me because you mentioned some of it earlier, and I'm going to ask you just to talk a little bit more about it, if you don't mind. Because I'll give you the question, and you do with it whatever you're led to do. And that being, tell me about a time in your life when brokenness was your reality, and you started to go down that road. But can you go back there for me?
Yeah. So the time where I was completely broken, when my mom passed away.
Yeah.
My mom was my best friend. She was the rock of our family. My mom, she was an immigrant from Liberia, West Africa. She came to America when she was 18. She went to college. When the war happened in Liberia, she brought our entire family over. So, she was the rock of our family. Everybody called my mom to pray. Like, she was the person who was peace. She brought peace to people's life. In every circumstance, she was always there for everybody. So imagine an entire family losing their rock.
Yeah. NeeJay, I'm going to cut you off and ask you a different question. Okay. Because there are a lot of people watching tonight who have not lost their mother. They still have their mother.
Right.
I lost my mom 5 years ago. So I know what it is to be a motherless child, right? I know what that feels like. Could you find a way to put that into words for people? For those who don't understand it, for those who are taking their mothers and their grandmothers for granted, could you just take a minute and tell people what it's like to walk on this earth and be a motherless child?
It's almost unexplainable. You don't want to feel that pain, and it sucks because one day you will. I don't have many words for that. It's unexplainable. It's not something that you will ever get over. It's something that you have to just kind of take day by day. But just imagine somebody that you speak to on a daily basis. Or somebody, even if you don't talk to your mom or whoever it may be, your grandmother, whoever raised you every day, but somebody that you know that you always have, not being able to pick up the phone to call them. Think about that. That's when I came back to New York to go back to school. I had to jump back into the routine of going to school. First of all, in the mornings, I call my mom to pray. When I'm walking to the train to go to school, I'm calling her. In between classes, I'm calling her. That alone, was the hardest thing. Not even being able to pick up the phone. So So just imagine that. It's unexplainable, honestly.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. Thank you for that. And I asked you for that because I want people to understand where this book comes from. I want them to understand that this book comes from a very sacred and sensitive place in your journey. That when you write these words in this book, that you are writing from the kind of pain that only a child who has lost their mother can know. But so many of us have, and so we appreciate all of us who have lived through that. We appreciate your courage in writing. I got to take a break. We're not done yet because I got more to ask you, and I got more to discover about this book that you've written. But you've already blessed us. You've already helped us, and I'm going to turn you loose and let you bless us some more. We'll be right back.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
Doesn't see race. Love is love.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm talking to NeeJay Sherman, the author, the writer of Broken to Peace. And when we were on break, NeeJay, you mentioned to me that we lost our mothers about the same time. Is that right?
Yes, that's crazy. Yeah.
No, it is totally, the universe has a way, right? God has a way of bringing people together who have certain commonalities that they're like, it's kind of the solidarity of the broken, right? If you know that brokenness, then you relate to people who have experienced it and understand it well. It's a powerful thing. I have a different question for you though.
Okay.
Because in as much as I'm interested in certainly that part of your life, which is very sacred and sensitive, I'm interested in this. What are the pieces of you, right? Because when I see you, as I hear you talk, I hear your faith. Tell me, what are the pieces that make you who you are?
The pieces that make me who I am. Well, I'm from Kansas City, so I feel like that has a lot to do with it, being from the Midwest. And like I said earlier, my family, I'm just a family-oriented girl. I grew up doing pageants. So I think that has helped me a lot with like my public speaking. And even my mom, she put me in that at a young age because it gave you a platform for whatever you're passionate about. So my thing has always been women empowerment. So I was 13 years old. So just having that instilled in me growing up. And yeah, I'm a goofy girl, down to earth. I love to be around people. I love to encourage people. I love being with my friends and my family. And yeah, I love to just work hard, and I walk in my purpose. I feel like I am doing that. Like being on this interview with you right now, I feel like I'm walking in my purpose. And I hope whoever is watching this right now, I hope whatever we talk about, whatever we're discussing, that you're impacted in some way.
I love that, and I'm wondering as you speak and as you sort of represent yourself as best as words can represent us. I always get the sense when I talk to people like you that there's a message beneath the message, right? There's the book which has its message, right? There's what you're able to give us tonight, but then there's that larger message that I think people like you are trying to say with your life. Some people make statements with their lives, and I'm wondering, what statement are you trying to make with your life?
Man, this is a good question because I actually mentor a few people. And I was talking to one of my mentees last night, and she was just telling me about some things that she's been going through and some things that she's been through in the last 3 years. And I was just telling her, you know, you've gone through all this stuff, but that doesn't mean that's it for you. Like, it's not done for you. Your life is written far beyond what you can even comprehend. So my message is that no matter what you go through in life, do not give up. We all have a story. We all have a story. The person has a story, you know, like the person you walk by walking in the street has a story. The person at the grocery store has a story, you know, but whatever that story is and whatever you've been through, don't give up. And I want to be like a living testimony to show I was at my lowest of low, you know, suicide. I tried to commit suicide. And I've opened up with people about that because it needs to be a conversation. Mental health, especially within our community, it needs to be a conversation. And especially me growing up in an African household, we didn't discuss anything about mental health, depression, anxiety. And those are things I honestly never experienced until my mom passed away. So just being in that low place and experiencing those things, I want to share my testimony. No matter, you know, I used to think it was embarrassing, but it can help somebody else, you know? So don't be ashamed of your story and just know that you can overcome anything.
Yeah, no. Yeah, absolutely. When I say no, that's a good thing. Yes, because you just took us up just a little higher, and that's where I like to go. As high as I can get is where I like to go. It's just so refreshing, you know, to hear you talk about your life in such a way, because I love authentic people who are willing to share, you know, their journey, not just their book, right? Because again, what validates the book is the fact that you survived it, and we need to know what the hell did you survive, right? That's the power of it. You said something that I really want to drill down here just a little bit, because I know you're a woman of faith, and as a descendants of Africans from Liberia, you're probably Christian, right? And what makes Christianity unique, a unique religion, and what makes someone Christian, we're not, and you tell me if you agree with this. We're gonna go a little churchy for a second. You're not Christian because you speak in tongues. You're not Christian because you go to church. You're not Christian because you tithe. You're not Christian because you sing in the choir. You're Christian because you believe that something dead on Friday got up again on Sunday. Yes. That's what makes you Christian. What'd you say?
We're really taking it there. Like, we're taking it to church. Like,
yeah, we going all the way down. But that's true, right?
Yeah, it's true. Yes, 100%.
It's absolutely true. There's no denying it. So let me say this to you. I think everybody's grieving. We're all grieving something in some kind of way. You know, everybody has something that they're some kind of loss that they're dealing with. Because you've written this book and you fell through the pieces all the way down into peace. Give me some advice tonight, or some tools tonight, for everybody who's dealing with grief. And I define grief as the loss of anything: job, relationship, marriage, spouse, parent.
Love on yourself. Love on yourself, because we can be so cruel to ourselves when we're grieving. Whether that's not even eating. Like, when I was depressed, I wasn't even eating. I couldn't even get out of bed. Like, love on yourself. Do things that's going to make you feel good, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Whether that's turning on an old TV show that you used to love growing up, eating cereal, you know, taking time off from social media, because social media, let's talk about it, can be really damaging to our mental health.
Facts.
You know, even if you need to distance yourself from certain people, that's fine too. But doing what you find necessary within that time. And that's okay. And don't let anybody like rush you through your process of grief. Like you said, whatever that may be, don't let anybody rush you. Take your time, but be kind to yourself. For me, it's reading devotionals, doing a face mask. I love eating cereal and watching like old TV shows, just whatever makes my spirit feel good. You know, it may sound childish, but like whatever in that moment is going to just uplift me, even if it's just for 15 minutes, like that's fine. At least you felt a little good today for a little bit. That's fine. That's progress. Get out of bed, you know? So that would be my advice.
No, it's great advice. Let me tell you why. Because in my line of work, that's great advice. Because what we try to get people to do, here's the sort of the metaphor. The metaphor is to get people to crack the window just a little bit. Each day, crack it a little more, widen it a little more, right? And sometimes cracking the window is just getting up out the bed, walking to the bathroom.
Mhm.
You've cracked the window, right?
Mhm.
And don't underestimate the power of that. I guess what I want to ask you is about the book specifically. So let's say NeeJay, that I had to go away, right? This is our intellectual experiment right now. Stay with me.
Okay.
So I'm going away, and I can only take your book, right? But I could no nothing else, just your book. But somewhere in the journey, I can only take one poem or one chapter of the book, right? I can't take the whole book. I can only take one part of your book. What part of your book should I take on this long journey to a faraway place?
Healing, which is the last chapter. So it's made up of 4 main chapters, and healing would be the one that I would suggest, because no matter where you are in your journey, I feel like somewhere in that chapter there's something that will resonate with you. And like I said, that's self-love, spirituality, finding God, or just being good to yourself. Wherever you are in your journey, where you are on that island, like you'll find something in that. And I feel like healing, that's so important, because no matter what you are going through, no matter what you're going through, we all have something, no matter how big or how small. So I think chapter 4 for sure.
That's great advice. Because I don't know about you. I can't speak for you, but I need to be healed every day.
It's always something.
It's always something. I'm like, heal me fast and again.
Yeah.
So listen, let me give you some rapid questions. All right, you ready? You ready for me?
Okay,
All right, you can do it. We can do it. Here you go. So, what do you know for sure?
What I know for sure,
Yes.
that God is good.
What's the best thing about you?
My character, I think. So.
What are you still working on?
Personal development is really important. I've learned that recently. Like I said, I mentor other people. So as I'm mentoring other people, I'm finding that I myself need to mentor myself, or need some mentoring. There's things, life is going to be something new every day. And it's not thinking that you're big enough or you're too good to like not learn from your mistakes.
That's good. That's good. Never think you're too big to learn. That's good. That's important. All right, I'm not done. When was the last time you danced?
Today, with you, before this call.
Facts. We danced. We did a whole thing. Yeah. All right. When was the last time you cried?
This weekend. Yeah. I'm emotional.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. You're human. That's what human beings do. As you look over your life and you look at the length and breadth of your life, and you can't say God, because I know how you Christians are, who has loved you the most?
Can it be like, is this one person, or?
Whatever the answer is.
Oh, this is hard. I would say my family, but if I can't, I'll say my mom.
Your mom. So here's my last.
Can't find it.
Say that again.
Her love, like I won't ever get that again.
Oh no, absolutely. There's nothing like a mother's love. Nothing like it. Nobody will ever be able to love us like that. Yeah. Nobody. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. People will love you, and they'll love your dirty drawers and all that. But that love, that's a different kind of love. You know what I'm saying?
It's different.
And to think, because NeeJay, let's go back to church, and to think that God loves you more than your mama.
I know.
What kind of love is that?
That's crazy, right?
Let me tell you, NeeJay, if I was God, I'd have walked out on me a long time ago. I'd have been like, you crazy.
Yeah, I'm done.
I'd have been like, no, boy, you crazy. But that's what we're celebrating tonight. We're celebrating that kind of love, that kind of joy. I want to thank you for this book. And first of all, tell everybody how they can get this book.
Yes, you guys can get Broken to Peace on Amazon Kindle or Barnes & Noble. It's available right now. You guys, please go get it. I promise you, you need it, or somebody in your family needs it. Maybe a friend that you don't even know they're going through something will need it. Yes, it can apply to everybody. So you can get that now.
and here's why we wanted to have you on. We're going through a time when a nation is grieving. Black people have lost more people to this disease, to COVID-19, than proportionally than almost anybody else, other than our brown brothers and sisters and our Native brothers and sisters. And a lot of people watching tonight who know people who are grieving. This book can be a resource. It's a gift you send, and you don't even have to tell anybody you're sending it to them. Just send it to them and let them be blessed, let them be better. And that's why we wanted to have NeeJay on the show tonight, to sort of represent the resources that are available to our community in this time when people are down. There's a way to lift people back up. And it won't happen overnight, but like NeeJay and I said earlier, you can just help them crack the window a little bit. And the light comes in, and after the light comes in, the joy comes in, and before you know it, they're back to dancing. NeeJay, you got to come back and see me sometimes.
I will, I promise. This was so much fun.
I appreciate you. I appreciate your honesty, and I love your story. My dear sister, thank you for coming on. Listen, everybody, we're not done. We got Brian Courtney Wilson coming up. You know him. He's a phenomenal gospel singer. If I could sing, I would break out into one of his songs right now, but I don't want to disrespect the man. He'll be here in a little while. We'll be right back.
This is the message. This is a message for all the true fighters.
To all the true fighters.
True warriors.
True warriors.
The true champions.
We know that every battle comes at a price. You see it in our faces,
and we see it on yours.
So to the doctors,
To the nurses.
To the first responders.
For your bruised faces.
For your battle scars.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for answering the bell.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for going
Toe to toe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for your courage
and
your
sacrifice.
All of us.
All of us.
all of us.
All of us. All of us.
All of us
All of us. All of us.
are in your corner.
The Aunt Jemima brand of syrup and pancake will get a new name and image.
I think it's a good thing that they're saying, you know what? That ain't your mama syrup. We gonna have to change that.
Cocktails with the Queens.
But some women still look like that, and that still represents. I'm serious.
Well, I want them to go into all these here white churches and take this blonde-haired, blue-eyed Jesus off the wall. Now
Bam!
Stream it live every Monday night on foxsoul.tv.